Michael here again with DrawingTeachers.com. We're going to do the name Dominique in graffiti bubble letters. This is probably the longest name I've tried yet. So go ahead and we wrote it out, Dominique. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters. So after the fifth letter, there's going to be 4 there. It's really going to be right down the middle of the N, because that's the center. There's the N, there's 4 letters that way and 4 letters that way. So I've made a top line and a base line, made them pretty close together so we have room for all of our letters. And I'm going to start by finding the center of my design, and then I'm going to place the N right there in the center, and the I. To make this Q a little more ovally than round, just so that I have a little more room. And this U, pretty tight, and then the E's right here. Okay, now working backwards, I've got an I, and the M, and make that O somewhat ovally, and then the D. See, we're already running out of room on the camera, but we can zoom out, so that's good. Whoop, wrong way. Pull out a little bit. Okay, now it's time to take this name and turn it into bubble letters, and we're going to have to be careful not to get too thick on them. We're going to start with some thin ovals here. And we're just going to go ahead and let that O be an O. We'll make a nice center oval in there, and let that drop behind there. Again, since there are as many letters there are here, I don't want to make this design too tiny. We're going to go ahead and make it a little taller. Alright, with the Q, let's go ahead and do something with this stick here, like make a little piece popping out of there, and then we'll come in here and just do the inside of that. Alright, and well, that's not working at all. I'm going to go ahead and erase that a little bit. Got that definitely too close together. Let's form a bottom for that U, and then 2 sides, and then what we'll do is we'll round that out. Round that in there. Alright, and then finally on the end, our E. So there we go. It's time to get our marker. I'm using a black Sharpie, and we'll go ahead and outline this. Go ahead and put in the middle of the D. Okay, and in order to get this shape over here, I don't want to smear my hand through the design, so I'm going to put a piece of paper here. Do like that. Okay, now the center of the O, and I'm trying not to pull the pen away from me. I'm trying to pull that towards me wherever I can. Helps me keep control over the line. Sometimes I'll do a little bit on a curve like that. So I'm not saying you can, it's not a rule really, but you just will find that you have more control when you pull these lines towards you. Alright, now let's see, that M, we're going to let that go over the I. Let that I pop out behind there. Alright, D-O-M-I. Alright, keep working our way across. We're now at the Q. Here you really got to pay attention as to what actually is showing and what's not. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and let that go over the U there and turn the paper a little bit. Alright, great. Now the U. And finally the E. There we go, Dominique. Great name. Lots of letters, kind of tricky to draw. Especially lots of these round, like the D's, the O's, the M's, the Q, especially tricky. Q's and G's. Tough letters to do. I feel like the E's are probably the letter E, the letter I. Those are some of the easiest. So I'm using a kneaded eraser. It's kind of a rubbery eraser that you can get at the art supply store. Picking up that pencil here. Get that all cleaned up so we can go on with the next step of our design, and that will be to put a little accent, a little reflection down on the lower edge of the letter. Alright, there we go. Now for the next step. These little curves down here and also on the underside of that, because that's rounded. You know, we're imagining it's rounded. It's a bubble kind of shape, and this is picking up the little reflections of the world around it. And as I'm putting these, I do know that I generally always put them to the right side and the lower part. There's no reason you couldn't do them the other way. You probably want to do them all fairly consistently, but sometimes I just feel like I need a little something somewhere, and I'll just pop it in, like, you know, like a little bit right there or right there. Alright, in a moment we'll take the next step of doing the 3D shadow or 3D drop shadow effect.